everyone, I'm Dave and I'm here to do a bit of a rant / review on David Brent, Life on the Road. It's a new film written, directed and starring Ricky Gervais, going back to his most iconic character, David Brent, from the hit series The Office. The UK one, not the US one, from the early 2000s, which was a huge hit.
Hello, I'm David Brent. You probably know me as the star of the documentary The Office. I'm currently a singer-songwriter. We are foregone conclusion.
Just for anyone out there who's keen to see it, there's going to be spoilers in this review because I'm going to talk a lot about the film's points. But if you don't care, then please watch ahead. So basically, I just want to start with the original Office, the show. Like, it was so good. It was better than it really had any right to be, because on paper, a documentary around a couple of people in an office running a paper company sounds super fucking boring. But yeah, it was really amazing and kind of set the tone for a lot of comedy series and stuff like that. And so, yeah, I love it. I mean, I've got the box set up here in my collection, and I was really excited when they said that they were doing a movie about David Brent. Ricky has done a few movies now where he's written and directed just on his own, and they've not really been good at all. I don't know if you guys would have seen it, but he did one recently called Special Correspondence on Netflix with Eric Bana, which he also wrote and directed by himself, and it was fucking garbage. Absolute garbage. I mean, if you haven't seen it, just don't go near it, please. So back to this movie. Now, Ricky Gervais is doing this film on his own without Stephen Merchant, who it seems to be becoming clear that he is the genius behind all of the successes of the shows like Office, Extras, Life's Too Short. I mean, they were all fantastic shows that were co-written and directed with Stephen Merchant, and he is sorely fucking missed right now, because let me just start off by saying that this David Brent movie is fucked. I'm talking absolute fucking boredom and just, oh man, I can't even really find the right words to describe how bad it is, but it is like taking a giant shit on the legacy of this character and the show itself. I mean, because of how bad this movie is, it's now retroactively made me feel worse about the original series, which I love, because its past genius is now associated with its future failure. And it just, I cannot express how disappointed I was with this film. So anyway, let me get into it a little bit. The first half an hour is, I was willing to sort of just give it a chance and see how it goes, but after I was about 40 or 50 minutes in, I mean, I was ready to call it quits. I had no qualms whatsoever about just getting up and walking out. I saw it with my girlfriend, and she's not a huge Office fan, but knows the character and was interested in seeing it. And yeah, she was on the same page as me. And for me to want to walk out of a film is actually pretty huge, because I'm a huge film buff. I don't know if you can tell by the collection of movies behind me, but I have only ever walked out of a film once that I can recall in my entire film going career. And that was in 2001, I think, when I was only 14 or 15. But since then, never have, but was very close to walk out on this film. It's just exceptionally boring. I mean, I'm not even quite sure of the story that they're trying to tell here. I mean, the story picks up real time from when the series ended, so 15, 16 years since it's been off the air, and we find out a little bit about what Brent's been up to, but now in this story, it's following him putting on his own tour to try and launch his career as a musician.
I'm putting a tour together.
Let me take you down Equality Street.
On the road is where I really come alive.
Biddly, 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 bong, yo.
And the first hour, you just are subjected to scenes of him kind of putting it together and then actually going on the road, and it's mixed between shots of seeing the gigs actually happen, some stuff on the road, and then montages of some of the gigs, and you just never really get a sense of what they're trying to accomplish or what Ricky's trying to accomplish with this film. I don't really know what story he was trying to tell. And then in the third act, they try and inject some emotional development with the character, and it just, none of it was earned. So, for example, through the whole film, he is hiring musicians to go on the road with him, and they always express to camera, because it's filmed sort of documentary style like the show was, they're always saying how excruciating it is with Brent and how embarrassing it is and how much they don't like him, and that if they weren't being paid to be there, there is no chance they would be spending time with this guy.
I didn't really know where to laugh or cry. There's been quite a few moments like that, I think.
They have, yeah.
This tour is going to get better and better.
Right, who wants a t-shirt?
You think it's painful to watch? I have to stand next to him.
And so that's the whole film pretty much. And then up until about the last 10 minutes, there's a scene where the road tour manager engineer guy kind of finds Brent in a bar, and Brent's a bit upset with how the tour's been going because they haven't been getting crowds, they haven't been making money, and Brent's just been pouring money into this tour, which he's been dragging out of his pension funds and that sort of thing, and he's getting really down. And this guy who's hated him the whole way suddenly turns and he's like, no, it's okay, mate. I mean, it's a good experience, and if you don't get signed, you don't get signed. And Ricky's like, yeah, but no one even really likes me. I mean, what's the point? And this guy goes, it's okay, mate, I like you, and shakes his hand. And then, no, you can't do that. 5 seconds ago, you were all against him, and now no development, and suddenly you're cool? I don't get it. And then in the next scene, he does Brent a favor by pouring all this money into this thing that they wanted to do for their final show, which cost him 1,500 quid, that he talked Brent out of spending, and now he goes and spends it. So yeah, that was just bad. And then at the end of the show, all the band members come around to the bar and start having drinks and cheersing with Brent, and they're all happy and smiling and getting along, when no shit, literally 10 minutes earlier, there's a scene where Brent is trying to organise after-gig drinks with his band, and they refuse to do it unless he pays for them to be there and pays for their drinks as well. So when you juxtapose that with the final scene, you just go, no, nah, sorry, fuck you, Ricky Gervais, but no. If you're going to do something like that, you have to give it some sort of through line through the whole film. You can't just slap that on at the end and call it development or redemption or whatever you want to call it. No. And then following that, there's a scene at the end, they have this office where he works out of, and there's a woman there who you wouldn't say likes him, but just isn't as frustrated with him as the rest of the office clearly is. And then at the end of the film, she's kind of like, hey, you want to go get a coffee? And they walk off together, and they accidentally touch hands, and then it cuts to black, and that's the credits, insinuating that they're going to go on and be a couple. And you go, Ricky, mate, you obviously have no idea how to tell a coherent story that has development and is entertaining. And worst of all, you can't seem to tell a story that's actually funny. This is your most iconic character, man. And for you to take it and just shit all over it in the manner that you have, destroying the legacy of this character and in turn the original show, that's unforgivable. Completely unforgivable. I could let it go with your other films like The Invention of Lying and Special Correspondence. You could let it go because they're their own properties. But this is your best work that you are now taking and just destroying. Why? Why? Oh, he obviously doesn't need the money. I mean, he's got so many royalties coming in from his various shows, he does those Optus ads. I mean, he must be flush with funds. So the only reason he would have done it is for the passion of the character. He loves his character and wanted to tell a good story with it, but he just couldn't.
What's the definition of a glass bra? Smash and grab.
Okay,
honk,
well,
honk.
violence against women is seldom a laughing matter.
Where's the violence?
You're smashing a woman's bra and then you're grabbing her breasts.
Not literally, in a joke. And the violence isn't the funny bit.
What is the funny bit, David?
Honk honk. Funny noise, funny organs.
And one other thing I have to mention is that throughout the entire film, he does his signature kind of awkward, under the breath Brent laugh, the kind of like, sort of thing. I can't, that's bad. I cannot do it. But you know what I'm talking about.
Can we have the bill, please?
Shall I put it on your room?
Rooms? We're not. I wouldn't. Not with him. And not because he's a black man, because he's a man.
He does it in every fucking scene. Every fucking scene that he's in. And not just once, like multiple times. After 10 minutes from the start, I was already sick to death of it. And then there was 80 minutes of it left. So not only was it not funny, didn't tell a good story, was boring, it was also actually really irritating to watch. No wonder I would have had no qualms walking out on it, and now I wish I did walk out on it. And worst of all, I spent money to see this thing. And I took my poor girlfriend along to bear witness to this absolute travesty of a film. I thought, classic Gervais character, classic show, classic property, surely will bring the laughs. And you know, BBC productions usually pretty high standard, but yeah, wow. I would say I'd give this, I can't even give it a 1 out of a 5. I have to give it a 0 out of 5. There's nothing redeeming whatsoever about this film. And if you guys see it and you disagree, I'd love to hear your thoughts. I would love to get a new angle on it and some appreciation of why it might be better than I think it is. But I just can't see it. I just cannot see it. And I touched on this briefly beforehand, but yeah, I really miss Stephen Merchant. I read online, apparently they don't follow each other on Twitter anymore, which is kind of weird, but I don't know. And if I was Merchant, I would be fucking pissed that he's gone and done a Brent movie without him and made it as terrible as it is. I mean, that's just a giant fuck you to Stephen Merchant. It's a giant fuck you to the audience and to the fans. I mean, I'm a huge fan and I'm let down, just big time.
I like making people feel. I get inside your head, maybe get inside your heart. Guilty.
So anyway, that's my thoughts / rant on David Brent, Life on the Road. It's out now. Have you seen it? What did you think? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know if there's any other films you'd like my thoughts on, because I've been wanting to do more of these videos but just haven't got off my ass to do them. So if you like this, please let me know, and maybe I'll see you guys again soon. Catch you later.